City. Oh, yeah, they go New York, go New York, go.
Talk about a team right now that is just in such sync offensively.
And that looks as an all for Nick Nurse. A sweep completed here in Philadelphia.
Would rather not have a 9-day break.
We've had a chance to rest, too.
It is the Donovan Mitchell Show.
The Cleveland Cavaliers are moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. They'll take on the New York Knicks.
It's going to be a tough battle.
It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be, might have another game 7.
New York, go, New York, go.
Oh, this music lives rent-free in my head. Madison Square Garden is going to be an absolute madhouse tonight as the Knicks host Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavs. After losing to the Pacers in the conference finals last year, the Knicks are still looking for their first finals appearance since 1999, while the Cavs trying to make their first NBA Finals without LeBron James on the roster. The Cavs and Knicks have taken different paths en route to meeting in the Eastern Conference Finals. New York has lost just 2 games this postseason and has a plus 19.4 points per game differential, the best in a 10-game span in NBA playoff history. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Cavs have gone to Game 7 in each series they've played in the postseason. So the question is, who needs to show up tonight at the Garden in order for this to be a Game 1 for the ages? Stephen A.?
Well, it's 2 people that go to my mind. I know I'm supposed to give 1, but I'm going to give 2 only because 1 is involving injury. I need to see OG Anunoby healthy. After being out with the, in the Sixers series with the hamstring injury and whatever the last few games, I want to see him back healthy. The fact that he's gotten this rest, that they got this break because they swept the Sixers and Cleveland and Detroit win 7 games, I think it's incredibly important that this guy is in the flow. Remember, he was shooting better than 60% from the field and better than 50% from three-point range, averaging over 20 when he went down in the playoffs. So we have to understand his importance. Strictly in regards to their performance, more so than anything else, I'm going to say the name Mikal Bridges again. I'm going to say again, yes, Wilbon, you're absolutely right. It ain't his fault that all them damn draft picks were given up for him. It ain't his fault. I got it. But damn it, they were given up. Okay, and this is the Knicks. This is the Knicks situation, and it's gonna stay this way for the foreseeable future because they gave up all of these assets. He has to justify it, and he doesn't have to do anything more than he's been doing over the last few games in these playoffs since they blew out Atlanta by 50 in the first half of the closeout Game 6. So he's been flowing ever since. Keep that up is all I'm trying to say. Mikal Bridges has to be that guy because we know Donovan Mitchell might get loose. Who knows what James Harden's going to do? Who knows what Allen and Mobley are going to do? But I'm going to say the name that comes to my mind is Mikal Bridges. If OG Anunoby is healthy and Mikal Bridges is balling, the New York Knicks are easily going to win this series.
I'll give you 1 from each team. I'm going to say for the New York Knicks, that has to be Karl Anthony Towns. Last series, we seen him basically play with a handicap when we're talking about Joel Embiid. You got the sag off him on defense, therefore it helped you out defensively when you seen screens coming, people cutting through, etc., because he was hobbled on defense. Not just that, offensively, when they were, we'll call him point center cat, had the ball in his hands. When he got the drive, defense also collapsed on him, so you were able to find open shots from Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and where the Knicks just shot lights out, 57% from three-point land. And that was the key to that. You're a bit handicapped because of Joel Embiid. Are you going to do that against Evan Mobley? We'll see that. And on the other side of the ball, I'll say, has to be Jared Allen. He had 2 great, sensational Game 7s in this playoff so far. But I remember him a couple years ago, and your guy Wendy actually brought it up, how he got smoked by Mitchell Robinson. And he said the lights were too bright for him. And that was 3 years ago. The lights are going to be brighter than 3 years ago. And you've been playing exceptionally well this series. You're going to have to step up this year for the Cleveland Cavaliers to have a chance.
I don't disagree with any of those. Those are key people. And more than one person has to show up big in any playoff game, particularly a conference finals playoff game. I'll stick with Cleveland for a second. And it's going to be Donovan Mitchell. I mean, look, Donovan Mitchell's capable of 50-point games in the playoffs. We know that. He doesn't have to have that tonight. I'm not suggesting he needs to be some great soloist. But here's what it does if Donovan Mitchell is assertive and productive early. It takes a lot of the pressure off James Harden. Stephen A., you and I particularly have spent a lot of years chronicling and having to be critical in the playoffs, particularly as mid-May turns to late May, of James Harden and what he hasn't done. But what James Harden can do, particularly if Donovan Mitchell's taking the pressure off him scoring, James Harden can just go to facilitation mode. He can do that and have 10, 11, 12 assists and be incredibly effective. This is not a situation where James Harden has to be what he was in Houston and has to come out and have a 35-point, 15 assist game. No, he doesn't need to do that. But in order to sort of settle into that role, you need Donovan Mitchell scoring a lot in this game. And it also, Mobley and Allen can then follow suit. Somebody's got to set the tone for Cleveland. Mobley and Allen, you can't have any 3.2 assist, 2 rebound games out of them. They need bigger games. We saw that late in the Toronto series. We saw it late in the Detroit series. They can't wait till late. Otherwise, there won't be a late in the Knicks series if they don't get started, and preferably tonight.
I'll say this about Harden. Harden, 29-6 against the Knicks in his career. So he's had some success against this team. It was not a factor in Game 7, Harden. It didn't matter. They won the game. They didn't necessarily need him for him not having a great showing. It matters tonight now in this game, in this series, to set the tone. Also, the OG Anunoby point, Stephen A., that you made, he is probable, according to NBA's injury report.
Yes, he's playing.
So I would assume he will likely play and feel good. And you know what?
Back here with us, and the Knicks have outscored their opponents by nearly 20 points per game. That's the best point per game differential in a 10-game span in the playoffs in NBA history. So, Michael, I have to ask you, what has clicked for New York in this postseason?
Everything. Mm-hmm. Everything's clicked. When you're winning games by a 50-point margin in the playoffs, everything's clicking. We know that Jalen Brunson has been his usual clutch self, although he hasn't had to be dramatic because the games haven't been close enough for the most part, not since very early that 1-2 deficit against Atlanta in the first round. But, Karl Anthony Towns is a totally different role. He looks like a different player, and the Knicks offense looks so different with so much of the offensive action running through him. And the pass and the assist totals for Cat in the playoffs have jumped incredibly. And so everything, what the Knicks do need is a healthy Anunoby. They need him for his two-way game, but also defensively, they're going to need that most likely against Cleveland. So everything so far has been clicking for the New York Knickerbockers.
All right, Michael, let's talk about this Cavs team coming off that 7-game series against the East top seed, the Detroit Pistons. What do you expect to see from Cleveland coming into tonight's Game 1?
Well, we expect to and think about the Cavs through the lens of Mitchell and Harden, right? Mm-hmm. That's what everybody's going to talk about. Scoring, how dynamic the backcourt is. Either one of those guys. I don't know if Harden can still put up 50. Maybe he could. But certainly Donovan Mitchell can and has in playoff games. But this is about, Allen and Mobley to me. The force they played with, you go back to Game 7 in the Toronto series, and then late, 5, 6, and 7 in the Detroit series. Allen and Mobley, they're going to be the important players, particularly, again, dealing with Cat. And the Knicks can play Mitchell Robinson with Karl Anthony Towns if Mike Brown chooses to do that. So I think those two guys are going to be every bit as important as their dynamic backcourt teammates.
And if you look at the Cavs, 10th straight game that they're playing on just one day of rest. Meanwhile, your Knicks, Amina, haven't played since May the 10th. So a serious rest versus rust situation here. Waking up with us